Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. And what we're going to make are cookies. But these particular cookies are made with candy bars and also hard shell candy. The candy bars that I'm using are the miniature. It's actually left over from Halloween, and in fact I have two other videos using candy from Halloween, and they are really good cookies. And this is the particular chocolate that I'm using. Okay, it's in a white and brown wrapper. Okay, and it looks like this. Okay, and what I did was I cut them in half because they're already kind of pre-scored, if you can kind of see that. They're a real delicate light chocolate that claim that there's like lots of bubbles inside. Well, anyway, and then I went ahead and I cut it into 4 pieces like this, and I used 28 miniature little bars of that chocolate that I just showed you a second ago. Okay, I used 28 of those. Then also I have a cup of the coated candy, hard candy on the outside but chocolate on the inside. I think you know what I mean. They do make generics and then the real famous ones that everybody knows. And I put a cup of that. So you need really anywhere from 2.5 to 3 cups of cut up chocolate in this recipe. So if you just have the chocolate bars, you know, like I said, use at least 2.5 to 3. You're going to kind of see if you want to use up to 3 cups, or like I did, a combination of the chocolate and then of the hard shelled candy and chocolate on the inside. Okay, so either way, these cookies are delicious. So let's get started. Now, I no longer put the ingredients below the video, and I'm really sorry about that, and I'll explain it later. So I'm going to go through slowly, and hopefully if you're interested in trying this recipe, you can jot down you know, the amounts and that kind of thing. So first you're going to start off with 1 cup of butter, which means 2 sticks of butter, and have it at room temperature because you want it relatively soft. You don't want to work with it very cold and hard, because I really think it is harder to mix and it can break up the chocolate and that kind of thing. So leave it at room temperature, and that is 1 cup. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that in my mixer. Now you certainly can use your stand-up if you want, but I'm going to cream mine quickly in my stand mixer. And as I mentioned, use your hand mixer if you prefer, but this for me in the video is much quicker and faster. So I'm just going to turn my mixer on, and I'm going to warn you about the sound. Once you break up and cream that butter, okay, then you're going to add 1 cup, let me do it this way, 1 cup of granulated sugar to the butter and cream them together. Beat them together. Another thing that you're going to do is add brown sugar, and you need 1 cup of brown sugar. I'm just going to break it up because it was sitting for a while, and we'll put a little at a time. Okay, and now with my spatula, I'm just going to clean the sides of my mixing bowl where it tends to stick, and the bottom. And you're going to spend 2 to 3 minutes creaming this till it's nice and smooth and light and fluffy. The next thing you're going to be putting in is 2 eggs, one at a time, and I've had them at room temperature also. Now, once you beat that together and you know it looks light and fluffy and it's well combined, then you'll know that you don't, of course, need to beat it any longer. And I'm just going to turn on the mixer just for a couple seconds here. Okay, and then I'm going to show you what I have and what it looks like so far. Okay? Alrighty. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add vanilla. And you're going to need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So beat that in. Now, I will tell you, I keep a half a teaspoon of vanilla on the side, just in case I need it. If the cookie dough just looks like it's, you know, too stiff to really mix the chocolate and in it, I add that and it kind of thins it out just a little bit. You don't have to put it in. If you feel that the cookie dough is easy enough for you to get the chocolate and all that in there, don't put it in. But if you think it looks a little thick and it's going to be difficult, I add that little bit of extra vanilla and it really does help. Okay? Now let's work on the dry ingredients. You're going to need 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. You're also going to be adding 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And then you're also going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I have my little whisk here, but I'm just going to give it a little quick stir. And then I'm going to slowly add the dry with the wet, so that I don't get flour all over the kitchen. That's the rest of the dry ingredients. And now I'm going to warn you about the sound, and I'm just going to kick up the speed a little bit to blend it and beat it in. Okay. Alrighty, I'm going to take my panel out of here. Push that aside, and then I'm just going to take the excess off my paddle here. You just hate to waste a lot of ingredients. You spend time doing this and the effort and then also the money that it costs to make and bake. So you really don't want to waste any of it. And then I'm just cleaning the sides of my bowl, giving it a good turn and just to see that everything's come together. Okay? And this is how it's going to look. Now it is a little bit of a soft, it's a sticky cookie dough. Okay, and now I'm going to add my chocolate just a little at a time, and then fold it in. This chocolate doesn't break up too easily, so you know, you can give it a good stir. I just like to put a little at a time, and being my hands in a cast, all the more. Now, I really didn't have to add any of the vanilla. It's manageable, and it's letting me, you know, mix it so that, you know, the chocolate isn't in just one spot. And let's throw the rest of these in, these chocolate buttons. Okay. And just a little at a time. Now again, you might be able to throw it all in and give it, you know, the good stir and mix and whatever, but this is how I have to do mine. Just a little at a time. And what you want to achieve is that it's mixed well enough that you don't have, you know, a lot of batter without any chocolate pieces in it. So, you know, that's the idea of trying to really combine it equally. Okay? And that's how it'll look. These cookies, oh, they smell delicious just raw like this. And then when you bake them, oh, the whole kitchen smells so good. It really does. Now, the next thing, of course, you're going to need is a cookie sheet or cookie pan or that type of thing. I like to, in this recipe, I really don't like to grease my pan for these cookies. I just don't think they come out as nice. So use your parchment paper or use your mats, your baking mats, that kind of thing. I'm using a scoop, but if you don't have a scoop, it's a little over a tablespoon, I'd say. I'm kind of generous with the scoop when I make these cookies. They are going to spread out when they bake. So let me put some down. As you can see, I'm saying how generous. I don't completely clean the scoop before putting them down. I like them to come out kind of a large cookie. And they will spread, so give them about 2 inches, okay, for that, so they have room, so they're not, you know, right on top of one another, okay. And you know, I'm not going to bore you here with putting the rest down, because you know, you get the idea. And if you get too much, just, you know, pull it back. Okay. And you're going to bake these at 350 degrees, and they're going to take you anywhere from 12 to 14 minutes. Now, you know, our oven's set up so differently, so I actually start watching mine around 10 minutes or so, because you don't want to dry this cookie out. You want it to be crisp and chewy, but you don't want it to be really hard, unless, you know, you try them and you want to bake them a little bit overdone and you like that, then, you know, it's going to taste good too. But the cookie, I think, is best when, like I said, it's crispy, but yet it's chewy when you bite into it and that kind of thing. So you don't want to over bake them, okay? Give them 2 inches, as I've mentioned, and anywhere from 12 to 14 minutes. I'm going to wash my hands here quickly and rinse them, being that I'm handling raw cookie dough. And I'm going to show you what they look like once they're baked up. And this is how they turn out. They really are very light in color, almost like a pale beige. I don't know if you can see that or if the camera is picking it up. That kind of thing, okay? And you can see how nice and big that they became. They have a nice light golden brown on the bottom, okay? And it has a hard finish to it. as well as the top, okay? But let's break into one, and then you start to see the moisture. You start to see the chewiness of the cookie, okay? I hope you can see that as I'm breaking it apart. It really is really an absolutely delicious cookie. It has its moisture and lightness and it's very delicate, but it has that crunch as well as that chew when you bite into it. And they are really just delicious cookies. They really are. As you notice how nice and big that they make. Now, believe it or not, I got 50 cookies out of this recipe. 50 cookies. So it really depends on how big you make them. But as I told you, I believe I put probably about over 1 tablespoon, a little bit over 1 tablespoon and it's not the smallest scoop, it's the next one up, okay, in size. But these cookies, they really not only smell delicious when you're baking them, because you can smell the brown sugar and the chocolate. Oh, they are a good tasting cookie. They are really, with a glass of cold milk or a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. So if you try this recipe and you like it, leave a comment, because I'd like to hear from you. And again, real quickly, why I don't put the recipes on, and you'll probably say, well, why is she boring us with that? Because people write to me and then say, why, or why didn't you mention something? So I'm not alone on this, but I got very tired of seeing my work posted, pinned, put on sites, people claiming it theirs, and here I have people kind enough to watch Diane Lovetobake, and they're asking me a question and I can't answer you, and it's so frustrating. So it's not worth it for me anymore. So I guess I'm going to ask you to be so kind to watch me solely on YouTube, because that's the only place I put Diane Lovetobake videos on, is YouTube. And if you like this recipe, boy, I'd appreciate a like. Or if you're so inclined, please subscribe to my channel. I have I think over 650 different types of cookies and cakes and pizza dough and Italian cookies and breads that I think you might find some recipes that you'd really like if you gave them a try. So I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. Stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.